Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking for the Yum of It. Today I am going to be preparing a basic bone broth, which is a very useful item for a number of soups that I plan to make, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I like soup. So let's get started with our basic bone broth. Now I'll be preparing a beef bone broth, and to start we need roughly 2 pounds of grass-fed beef bones. Knuckle bones are ideal. Frozen, which is what this is perfectly fine. If you prefer not to use beef, you can use turkey or chicken after you've removed as much of the meat and all of the skin as possible from the bones before using them. So the bone will go into my slow cooker. Now we go on to our next ingredient, which is 3 good-sized carrots, which I will be peeling and chopping, so give me a minute here. Abracadabra. Wasn't that easy? Of course, if you don't have magic, you'll notice that they're not really nice petite sizes, but we're not really slicing the carrots for eating. These are going in fact, after the bone broth has been done, all of the solid bits will be thrown out down the garbage disposal. Of course, by then they'll be so mushy that you won't want to eat them anyway. Now we're going to take half of an onion, other half I can use for other things. Okay. Okay, into the slow cooker with this. And now I'll need my larger knife so I can peel the carrots. The garlic. I already did the carrots. How about I want to do more carrots? I'll also get my trusty little garlic mincer handy. Okay. Very easy way to peel garlic. Slightly smush it. To break the peel, when it comes off, no problem, because didn't smush this one enough. Seen me do this before. Unless, of course, this is the first episode you've watched, in which case you haven't seen me do it before. I do like garlic. I like to put it in just about everything. It was I'll put it in the description below, but I was at the farmer's market yesterday with my roommate, and there was one stall where I was able to buy this really good garlic spread. Dairy-free, so I'm staying with my paleo. Okay. Oh, I didn't get enough of that little nib there, which I don't like putting in my soups or stocks. there. See, this is why I like to thank again the Secret Santa who got me this. Makes mincing garlic so much easier. I just press down and bam, it's minced. I can't say bam. I think that's a Emerald Lagasse copyright. Over here you'll see in goes the garlic. Give me a second here, my hands are all sticky. Okay, now, excuse me, add 1 bay leaf and 1 teaspoon of kosher salt before we add 1 splash, or I'm going to say 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Now, the last thing we do before we start cooking is to add water. Approximately 6 cups. We place our lid. Plug in our slow cooker. And we are going to go on low. Let me bring this down here. Going to manual, set the temp on, wrong side, cancel that, I hit the wrong button. Manual, temp on low, and we will now start. We will be cooking this for about 6 to 7 hours. I'll be back in 6 to give it a little taste, to see if it needs anything, but I don't think it will. And I'll see you at the end of the video. Now, as I mentioned, I like soup, and I'm going to be using some of this immediately tonight to make what's called a paleo breakfast soup. But always remember, breakfast isn't always just for breakfast. So I'll see you later. Okay, everybody, it has now been actually 7.5 hours. I got distracted by a movie I was watching and forgot about this, but that extra 30 minutes really shouldn't do anything bad. Now, give me 1 minute. Sorry about that. I left my computer running with the movie I was watching, and I wanted to turn that off so the noise wouldn't distract me. It's now been 7.5 hours. What we're going to do is take this down. Actually, we're going to unplug it. And we're going to let it cool for about 3 hours or so after we have what we're going to do is we're going to let it cool down, unplugged, sorry, to render out the last bit of flavor from the bones. Once that's done, we will go on to our next step, which will be to remove all of the larger solid pieces and then strain out the onions and carrot. But what we can do now is we're going to take out our bay leaf. Actually, I'll leave that in there for another 3 hours anyway. Get all the flavor we can. So I will be back in 3 hours. Okay, I really wish you could be here to smell this with me because it smells just fantastic. Anyway, ow, it's still hot. Here we've got what's left of our beef bone. Sorry about that. We're going to pretty good. I may see if I can pick some of the meat off of it and eat later. But here we've got our bay leaf. I'm going to take that out. Now we're going to use a slotted spoon. And you take. Actually, the recipe says to discard the carrots and onions, but I'm going to see something here. Actually, that carrot is pretty good, so I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to save the vegetables. Let me just get a storage container for that. Waste not, want not, as our one-time president Woodrow Wilson was fond of saying. Okay, we want to try and get as much of the carrot and onion out as possible. This is going to take a long time, so let's go to my backup plan, which I already have ready. I'm going to use a large colander in a bowl to strain out the bigger pieces. After I get my handy oven mitt hand protectors on. Let me make sure, okay, we're in position. Okay. Whoop. Now we lift our colander out. And what's left behind is lovely basic bone broth. You can use this as a soup in itself, which I'm going to have some in just a minute here after I finish getting the carrots and onions out of the slow cooker. Or you can use it as the base of any number of soups or stews that we'll be making later. Properly stored, the bone broth can last a good long time in your refrigerator, and it can even be frozen and saved for, I don't know, indefinitely, I suppose. So let me put everything away, because I like to keep things neat and organized in my kitchen, or as neat and organized as I can. And let me prepare a bowl of soup, which I'll add a little bit of my leftover onions and carrot to, and we'll see how it came out. Okay, there's the soup. I added, like I said, some of the carrots and onions that went into making the broth. It's not a very colorful soup, but the color isn't the important thing, it's how it tastes. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's a little bland. I'm not going to deny it. Could use Actually, one of the optional ingredients listed in the recipe was Tabasco sauce, red, or I'm going to use some green jalapeno. Give it a little dose of that, a little extra spice. Better. This is still a little bland, but the best part about this isn't using it as a soup itself. I think that will come when I make it for the soups that I'll be using it for in the future. But it's still pretty good. The Tabasco sauce, green pepper sauce I'm using, because the red is just too hot for me, does give it a little bit of extra bite, which is good. Anyway, that's our episode for today. I'll be doing my next episode very soon, and I hope you'll tune in to watch it. Until then, always remember, eat and enjoy.